Hi, welcome back to another edition of The Eyes Have It. Today I'm going to be doing a kind of grungy green look. So I have this kind of camo t-shirt on that I got at either Target or Marshall's. I can't remember, at the beginning of the spring season. So I'm going to pull in some of these mauve colors and this khaki green. And one thing I'd like to do with this series that I didn't do in my first one, but I'm going to be using the BH Cosmetics Smitten in Switzerland palette, and I'm going to tap into some of these greens over here. And what I would like to do at the end of this is to show you some other palettes that I have that you could do a similar look with. So maybe you don't have this palette. That doesn't mean you have to go out and buy this palette if you want to do a look like this. You might already have something in your collection that will work just as good. And so I'm going to go through some of those other palettes, but first let's get this on the eyes. Let's see if I can do this without blinding everybody. One thing I like to do first is to take a Skin Tone For Me color and put that from crease to brow bone to help with blending those shades above there. So we're going to just go in. This is a little powder. You could probably see that powder kick up. So tapping off the brush is something that you're going to want to do, and because of my crepey eyes, I do tend to pat and dab rather than swipe quite as much as I might if I didn't have the crepiness. Then with a fluffy brush, let's do it that way, that'll work. Okay, so this is upside down if you have this palette. So then I'm going to go into this kind of peachy color right here, and it's a little deeper than Skin Tone For Me, and go into the crease with that. To start creating a little bit of depth. Okay, and that one's really light even on me, so I'm going to go into the one next to it instead. And just build that color up right there in the crease. Dab it on and blend it out. I'm going right up to that brow bone right there. With that color. Other side. So I have a couple of goals with this The Eyes Have It series. And one of them is to have a little bit of a shorter video so that if you just need an eye look, you can pop this video on, follow the tutorial, and be done in a few minutes with your eyes. But the other thing is, like I said, to teach you how to see a YouTube video with an eye look that you like. And rather than having to go out and buy a palette, you can look through what you already have. Now, if you don't have much of a collection and you're building one, then, by all means, go buy the palette. But if you already have a fairly good collection of eyeshadow palettes, you might be able to find what you have. Maybe not all in one palette. You might have to go to a couple of different palettes to do it, or even pull in a single shadow or two. But you can probably find what you need without having to go out and buy something. Okay, so now I'm going to go into this green right here. It's called, I should have told you the other colors. The first color I used was Snowcap and then Fondue. So Snowcap was this one and Fondue was this one. It's a little bit darker one. So now I'm going to go into Mountain. And I'm just going to tap a little on the end of this fluffy brush, tap that off, and I'm going to place this one a little more carefully into the crease and not go up as high with it. And I'm going to dab that color on. And I'm doing it with a fluffy brush first because I want the color to be kind of diffused and not completely opaque. Tap in a little bit and back in with this brush. Now this brush is from Coastal Scents, and it's not bad. It was better when I first got it. It's a little bit scratchy now, and I don't know if that's a result of me washing it or the brush just getting scratchy, but it's not going to be kept for much longer because it is a little bit scratchy. And so there you can see, if I close my eyes, it's just a little bit of a wash of green. Now I want to deepen that up, and to do that I'm going to use this flat shader brush, and I'm going to get a little more color and just press that into the outer V and right here in the crease. And I'm just packing color on right now. I'm not trying to blend. Flip that brush over so I can get some right up there in the crease. And again, I'm going to pack that on this outer corner, outer V area. I didn't tap it off. I'm going to get some fallout if I'm not careful. So now I have a little bit of a denser color right there, and I'm going to take another brush. And this is very similar to that Coastal Scents. It's Shayna B, got it in an Ipsy, and it's not scratchy, so I'm going to switch to this one. And I just want to blend that color, but I don't really want to remove it, so I'm going to be very careful about how I'm moving it around. And then I'm going to take what's on the brush and just bring it right under the eye. So blend, pulling it toward the center. I don't want to pull it out because then it's going to end up too far out. And you can see that I have hooded eyes. My crease actually goes down below here. This is one reason I have a really difficult time doing a wing, because if I close my eye and do a wing right here and then open my eye, it droops and ends up looking more like a swish than a flick. So I just typically don't do wings. Now I'm going to go into the shimmer right here with my finger. It's called Mount Rigi, R-I-G-I, Rigi, I don't know. Anyway, put some on my finger. Ooh, that's a pretty shimmer. And I'm going to put that on the center and outer portions of my eye. And you can see I've left a little space in here in this very inner corner because I want to do a brightening shade in there. Take it on my finger and right there. Then I am going to use Alps, and it's a little bit of a silvery shimmer, but just a little bit of a mauve shift to it. And I'm going to put that in the inner corner to brighten up right there. Okay. Then I said I was going to bring in some of these mauve colors, and so I'm going to now go into Lucerne, which is this one right here, with another fluffier brush. And I'm just going to put this kind of on top of and above where I had that green, just to tie that in a little bit with my shirt. And you can see that that just kind of made it a little cooler. I did not use a lot. And then I'm going back to my brush that I used with the green. And going back and forth like this between your colors and your finishes is a great way to get a good blend, because you aren't just putting something down and then leaving it. You put it, you go to another color, you pull those edges together, and you just keep playing with it until it looks like you want it to look. Now, I would like to take this green and make it a little more defined under my eye. And if it doesn't get as dark as I want it, I will pull in a little of this deeper black called Nightfall. I don't want to use a lot of this though, because I don't want this to get too dark. So I'm going to use an angled brush that has pretty stiff bristles on it and go into that green and just kind of pick some up right on the edges, tap it off, and then I'm going to pull that under and flick it a little bit out that way as well to help lift the eye on the corner. And pull that under. Pull it out this way to define the bottom of that eyeshadow. I think I'm going to leave that alone and go in for some eyeliner. All right, I would like to brighten up the inner waterline here. So I'm going to use my BH Power Pencil in Shimmer Pearl. And just lay that right along the waterline. And again, this helps with bringing in a little of the pink that's in my shirt. And let's go with a brown pencil in the upper waterline. Like that. I can't talk and line my waterline at the same time, so. I have this Pixi Endless Silky eye pen in Sage Gold. And I'm going to try that under this lower lash line and just see what, it's got a little bit of a glimmer, so I want to see what that looks like. And I'm just going to kind of put that so far in the middle. Let me grab my 10X mirror. And put that in there. Okay, I'm not sure actually about this. I think it's just putting down glitter. I don't really see much in the way of green happening. I just kind of see glitter. So not sure about that one. But I do have a Coastal Scents Express line in a darker green. So let's see what that one does. And I just want this right on the lash line. And then I'm going to use this also on my upper lash line. Okay, so now I've used that green eyeliner, but let's say you don't have a green eyeliner pen. What if you want to do that eyeline look and you don't have one? But you do have the palette you used, and you do have this. So what you can do, take a little setting spray. This one's almost gone, so it spits at me. This is the Catrice Prime and Fine Multi-Talent Fixing Spray, like this. Take your little palette. This is just a ceramic soap dish from the Dollar Tree. And just spray a tiny little bit on there. Okay. Then take a thin liner brush, not the thick one we used for the bottom, but a thin liner brush. Pick up some of that shadow on the thin liner brush and then dip it into the spray on your tray. Okay. Then take that right along the lash line and just press it in. And you can get a very similar effect. So I didn't need to do both of these, but I wanted to show you how you can line with your shadow. Wetting it gives you a deeper pigment payoff than if you had gone in with the brush dry, okay? So I'm going to curl my lashes, put on mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I put on mascara and lipstick and finished my hair. So this is the finished look. I'll close my eyes so you can see the shades on my lids. And I am going to have to come back to do the comparisons with my other palettes because I have to leave. I have to go to work at the theater, and then I have to teach a couple dance classes. And tonight is the monthly improv class at the theater, and I've never been before, and I've wanted to for a really long time. And so tonight I'm going to get up the nerve and go and learn how to do some improv and have a little fun with the folks who hang out at the theater. So I may have to come back tomorrow, redo this look, and go through the palettes where I compare how to get the look using something other than what I used, okay? So stick tight. Time is going to pass very quickly for you, but not for me. So I'll see you with the second part of this video right about now. I'm back. Did you miss me? It was a really busy day, but let me first say, improv was probably the most fun I've had in a really long time. If you have an opportunity to go to an improv class, get over your little fear of maybe not doing well, and hopefully you would have as wonderful as an instructor as we did, because my goodness, did we laugh, and not at each other, but with each other, and it was so supportive and so much fun. I am definitely going to go back again. So my intent today was to try to recreate the look that I had yesterday. identically, using the exact same palette, wear the same shirt, and then continue where I was, comparing other palettes I have to the one I used, to let you know that you can often recreate a look that you see on YouTube with what you have at home. You don't have to go out and buy the palette that that person was using, as long as you're able to kind of look at your colors and look at the colors they used, and you can create the same vibe. You might not create identically the look that they created, but you're not standing next to them. It's kind of like when we have a dance routine or choreography in a play or something like that. The audience doesn't know the choreography. So if you mess up, they're only going to know you mess up by the look on your face. And if you do an eye look that you saw on YouTube, nobody's going to know that you didn't nail it perfectly unless you walk around with a picture of that YouTuber next to your face. So that was my intent. And then I did laundry this morning, and the shirt I was wearing yesterday went in the washer before I remembered that I was going to wear it in this video. And then I decided that maybe I wouldn't do the look with the same shadows, but that I would try to recreate the look on each eye with two different palettes. And so that's what I did. Are they identical? No. You can look. I'll come in a little closer. Okay, so they're not identical. This eye, the shimmer in the inner corner is a little bit brighter. It didn't have quite the same mauve tone in the palette, so I used my blush in order to get that little bit of mauve brought into the eyelid. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There's no makeup police. Nobody comes and arrests you if you use your blush on your eyes. Nobody cares if you use a foundation brush to blend in your cream products, or if you use a lip brush to pack shadow onto your eyelids. It's okay. There are no rules. You know, it's pigment, powder, and it washes off. So let's talk about what I did with my eyes. On this side, I used the Sugar palette from Face Candy. Now, I don't know that you can, I don't think Face Candy is around anymore that you can get this, but this is a dupe for the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. And I bought this palette when I first started getting more into makeup, watching YouTube videos. I've always loved makeup, but I started watching YouTube videos and it kicked it up a notch, as it has for most of us. And so I wanted to get some more products other than the little CoverGirl quads or trios that I had from the drugstore, but I couldn't spend a lot of money on it. So I went looking for products that I liked, and I liked this one. This is what it looks like inside. Okay. And the shades that I used this here from crease to brow bone to set that. Then I came in, and that was called Whipped Cream, by the way. Then I went into Glazed, this kind of peachy color in the crease. I used this Pistachio on my finger and put that on the lid. And then I used Licorice, which is this dark green, and yes, it's a shimmer, but I used that to deepen up the outer corner and blended it, and when I blended it with a brush, it looks more matte than it does shimmer. I also used this under the eye for my eyeliner. Okay. And then I took a little bit of Cinnamon Raisin in my inner corner to brighten up that area. Okay, so that's what I used in that one. And then, like I said, I used my blush. I used this truffle blush from BH Cosmetics. It smells so good. It smells like cake. These two blended together for my blush on my cheek. But then I used this one to bring in a little of that mauve tone on my eyelid. Okay. So with this Face Candy Sugar palette, I was able to, while not duplicate the look that I had from the BH Smitten in Switzerland, I was able to come up with essentially the same vibe. Okay, so then on this eye, I used my BH Cosmetics Naughty palette. Now, this one does not have that light matte ivory that I like to set my crease to brow bone area. So I used my little Wet n Wild Brulee. This is always on my desk to fill in for a palette that doesn't have this color. And it's 99 cents and it doesn't take up a lot of room. So I don't consider a palette a fail if it doesn't have this because, okay. So first I went into Meringue right here to deepen my crease a little bit. And then I pulled in a little of Secret Santa as well because Meringue's a little bit light for this. And so I just went back and forth between the two of them until I got the color that I wanted. Then I put Very Merry on my finger and onto the lid. I used Balsam, this deeper green here, to deepen up the outer V and into the crease to deepen that up, and as my liner. And then with this palette, I do have that mauve tone, Santa Baby, and so that went just kind of to help blend the edges above the crease and pull in those mauve tones. For my inner corner with this one, I used Cheers. And I used very little bit because it's a little bit darker. If I were just using this palette and not trying to match, I probably would have used Snow Day in the inner corner, just FYI, okay? So there are two palettes that I was able to dupe the vibe of the Smitten in Switzerland. And then I'm just going to show you a couple of more to show you that there are lots of options that will have these kind of deep foresty greens and peachy mauve tones. So another BH cosmetic is the Avocado Toast. I have wanted this one for so long. It's been on my wish list since it came out, but I didn't buy it when it came out. I bought it when they had their Memorial Day sales, and I got it for like 60% off or something like that. So if you can be patient, you can, even drugstore will go on sale, and instead of spending $18 for a palette, you might get it for $9 or $8. So this one, there's lots of greens in this one. I would, if I were going to try to dupe this look, I would need to use my Brulee because that shade is not in there, okay? And then I would use pink salt in the crease and just a little above to start creating the depth and helping that hood to recede a little bit. I would use green juice. That's this here. Now, this isn't quite as olivey toned as what I have on my eye. It's a little bit more mint, but it's going to give you this kind of green look, right? I would use Superfood to deepen up that outer corner and crease. And Avocado, that's a cute name, in the inner corner. And then I would maybe mix Superfood and this deeper color here in the corner, Holy Moly, for liner and an even little bit more depth into that inner corner. So again, not exact, but close. Then I have these two Rimmel palettes. These are each about $7 when they're not on sale. One is the Jewel Rocks edition. This one doesn't have as much in the lighter shades, and there's more shimmers, but again, use the Wet n Wild Brulee. And then I might come in with this lighter peachy color. This I would use on my lid. These don't have names on them, so I can't give you names. And I would use this to deepen up the outer corner. So these are the two green shimmers, and you can see if I close my eyes, this one is pretty close to what I've got on my eye right now, and this one you could use in the outer half if you wanted some shimmer out there. Then we have the Thunderstorm edition, and this one does have that light brow bone color. I would use these to bring in those mauve tones. I would use this green right here on my lid, and I would use this green to deepen up the outer V, the crease, and for liner. So I have just showed you 5 palettes that I could create a similar look. Now, part of me thinks, why do I have 5 palettes that I can make similar looks from? And that's a really good question. And it's something that when I think about buying a new palette, I do this exercise. And the way I do it is I capture images from the web, and either with Paint or Word or some other software, I will put those images together and I will look at the colors side by side. And then I will compare that to what I have at home. And sometimes I will bring my computer to my makeup station and I will look and see, do I have these colors? Sometimes it's convenient to have them all in one place. But I'm okay with pulling 2 or 3 palettes, or sometimes even more, to create a look if I have that kind of time. If I'm short on time, I'll pull something that I know I can get a complete look out of one palette. But if I'm duplicating half of the palette with stuff that I already have at home, then maybe I just need to look at the colors that are pulling me to that palette and grab a single or two. And something that I'm trying to be better about. If a palette isn't mostly unique to something I already have, then I'm probably not going to buy it. I have more eyeshadow than I can use up in a lifetime. And I don't want to buy more just to buy more. Not just because I can't afford it, which I can't afford it, but also because it's wasteful. And my daughter and I have been talking some about fast fashion. And I think fast fashion in the makeup industry is a good discussion to have as well. If you see a look that you like on YouTube, grab a screenshot of the palette and then look and see what you have and see if you can make that happen with what you already have. If not, if the palette is unique and you can afford it, then by all means, go for it. But I know that there's a lot of people who are like me who would like to not buy as much makeup, maybe, or use what they have. And so the purpose of this is to help you to know how to do that, how to look at what you have and say, can I use this to make what I saw? That's it. And so if you enjoyed what you see here today, I hope that you will click the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell twice so that you get the notifications for all of the videos I upload. And please hit that like button because that's what tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to other people. So thank you, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.